friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today I am going to open a big box of yarn. So the other day I heard a bit of a bang outside of my side door, and I was completely confused because I wasn't expecting anything, and lo and behold, there was a huge box. So every once in a while, Circulo Yarns loves to send me some new yarns or new colors that they have, so that this way I could share them with you guys. I absolutely love Circulo's yarns. They are a Brazilian company. They're not, I wouldn't say that they're new to the market, but they're newer to the US market. You're starting to see them pop up more. You will see them in a lot of local yarn shops. So if you aren't familiar with Circulo, you can check out your local yarn shops to see if they carry them. They do now have an Amazon storefront, which is amazing because you can get all of their yarns, most of which I think they're all prime, which is fantastic. If you go and visit Circulo's website, you can actually look to see and find a location where they carry them near you if you'd like to shop in store. If not, I can basically guarantee that you are going to love anything that you pick up from them online. Enough talking about Circulo and their amazing yarns. Let's just open them up so I could show you and you could see for yourself just how great these yarns are. All right, so let's open this first one on top. I already opened this box and I took a peek, and if you can see this, can you see that on camera? My cat Leroy was trying to break in and steal yarn. So let's check out this first yarn. So this is Duna from Circulo. I think I have two patterns using Duna. Definitely one, might be two. There's my, it's a really pretty yellow lacy bolero, and then I have a lacy tunic in two-tone. So this is Duna, and it is a number 3 DK weight yarn. This is a 100% mercerized Brazilian virgin cotton. This cotton is absolutely stunning. I love working with their cottons. They are just such a high quality. They have so many colors in their Duna line. It's amazing. I mean, honestly, it can be a bit overwhelming when you're somebody like me who just loves colors and has a really hard time picking them. So it's hard because there's a ton. There's so many really nice saturated colors like this that are I guess this is a variegated. So there's a lot of variegateds, there's a lot of solids, there's a ton of neutral solids, which I love my neutrals, and it's tough to pick one because there's a ton. There's a lot of really nice bright colors like this. Like, I can say with confidence, if you wanted to make a multicolored project and pick something like this and then find each other color that's in this yarn, you're probably going to be able to find that and match them almost perfectly. So anyways, back to this yarn. This is Duna. It is a number 3 DK weight. The recommended hook for this yarn is a 3.25 millimeter. I've used that, and I've also gone up with a larger hook, and it works out great. It makes beautiful stitches whether you use a smaller hook or a larger hook. If you would like to knit with this yarn, the recommended needles for this is a 5 millimeter. It is 186 yards or 3.5 ounces per ball. There is a nice cardboard tube in here to help keep this from collapsing in on itself while you're working with it, which is really nice. And then this color, it does not have a color name, but this color, the number is 9157. And it also has a batch number on there. So that is important to note when you are buying their yarns. They do have batches or lots. So make sure you order enough or pick up enough in the lot or batch that you're using, so that this way there's no variation in color. Look at how pretty that is. Gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet, but something fun. Definitely something for summer. I feel like I think I might have an orange that goes with this. So maybe I'll do a 2-color project. I don't know, we'll see. Next up is this t-shirt yarn from Circulo. This is a new to me yarn. I think this is a new yarn to them as well. I have not worked with this yet. It's a t-shirt yarn. It looks, ooh, look at this. This is an interesting construction. So it is not, sometimes you find t-shirt yarns that have been sewn together and you kind of have that hard edge. This is not like that. This is one flat, look, I can kind of unroll this. Can you see that? This is one flat piece of t-shirt material, and then it is folded ever so nicely so that it is a bit like a tape yarn, I guess you could compare it to. I can't really get it out, man. This thing is packed solid. Oh, there it is. Oh, look at that. Look at how easy. Let's see. So here is the strand. You can see it's nice and flat and smooth, but I can kind of unwind this, right? So it opens up. It's very similar. It's like a pantyhose type of material. This doesn't feel as thick and dense as some other t-shirt yarns I've worked with, which again might have to do with it not having that sewn seam in there, but this is really nice. It is 94% polyester and 6% elastane. It has marked on here that it is a 25 millimeter to 1 inch, which I guess is, I'm assuming is because of the way that it's folded or that you can open it up. You get 153.1 yards per cake. These things are heavy. This is classified as a number 6 bulky. The recommended hook for this is a 9 millimeter. By the looks of it, I would say that's probably a good hook to start with if you wanted to try this out. The recommended needles for this is a 10 millimeter. Again, this is another one of Circulo's yarns. It is made in Brazil. And the color on this one, it's this really, really pretty, totally matches everything I've got going on in my room, doesn't it? The color number on this is 7993. And it does have another batch number on it. So again, if you pick any of this up, make sure that you get everything in the same batch. All right, next up is Lael. This is one of my all-time favorite yarns. I actually have a couple projects going in this that have been shoved into whip bags that I just have not finished. I have a beautiful tank top that I made in this super pretty, like sunflower golden yellow. But to be honest, I'm totally overwhelmed on trying to figure out how to grade a fitted tank top. So it's kind of sitting there in my whip pile. It's done. The ends aren't woven in, but I'm a little nervous to actually try to make it fit multiple body types. So one day soon, hopefully I'm brave enough to do it. But for now, it's gonna just sit. But anyways, this is Lael. This yarn is insanely soft. So this is a blended yarn. It is, let me find the amounts. This is a 60% a cotton, 40% acrylic. And what I mean by blended is that they actually blend these materials together before they spin this fiber. So there are no variations in the color. The color is solid. Can you see that? It is completely solid. Hi, Loretta. You are gonna come and try to steal my yarn, aren't you? It is completely solid. A lot of the times when you get a blended yarn, something that is a cotton acrylic blend or a polyester acrylic blend or anything like that, sometimes what happens is you can see in the twist of the fiber the different materials, and certain colors it's more noticeable than others because the dye gets picked up differently on the cotton versus the acrylic versus the polyester versus the wool, whatever it is. They do something different with this where they somehow blend the fibers so that this way when they do dye it, that variation doesn't happen. It's absolutely stunning, and it's so soft. I'm not sure what to really compare it to that you might be familiar with, except that it does have this really kind of very smooth, almost suede-like feel to it. It is a matte finished yarn. There's no shine on these. They're absolutely stunning. And again, I think that these go by a color number and not a batch. Yeah, this is color 7825. I think if you go on their website and you start looking, I do think that they are starting to name some of their yarns with like a name, like they'll name it. Like I have, for example, I have a yarn from them. It's their new merino wool, and the color that I have is juniper. So I do think that they are starting to create names, but again, this is another line that has so many colors that I don't know that there's names for them. They are numbered. So again, this is 7825. And then a little bit more about this yarn. It has 213 yards per ball. It is, I believe, this is a number 4, right? Yeah. This is a number 4 worsted weight. And the recommended, hold on, let's see. Where is my hook information? It's tucked in there. So the recommended hook on this is a 3.5 millimeter. I think I used a 5 millimeter on my project and it was still pretty dense. So this is one that I would recommend going up or down in your hooks when you make a swatch to kind of figure out exactly what you want to use, but recommended is 3.5 millimeters. For needles, if you would like to knit with this, it is recommended to use a 4 millimeter needle. This color is absolutely gorgeous. Look at how pretty that is. It's like a really pretty, if I was gonna give this a name, I would call it hay, because it's like such a pretty, neutrally color. It's, yeah, I would call this like hay. It's like a perfect warm neutral. I really like this. I want to use this one. I have a darker brown. I wonder if there's enough contrast if I could combine them. I'm gonna have to go pull them out and look. But again, this is a great yarn. If you can get your hands on some Lael, I would definitely try it. You will love this yarn. This is definitely one of my favorites. This and Duna are probably my top 2 that I've worked with so far. I love, 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 love Lael. Next up, another yarn that I have an easy open hole because Leroy was trying to eat this. I have a ton of this yarn in another colorway, but I have not used it yet. I have an idea for it. I was kind of thinking of making a dress, but they sent me over more of this one called Whoopi. Whoopi is a beautiful self-striping, color-changing yarn that it fades through the entire cake. Let me see. Let's see. No. Okay. I can confirm that they all do not start on the same color change. So I know that sometimes that can be frustrating for people, but just know that you will very easily be able to go in and pull out to the next color. I do have a tutorial on how to hand wind a center pull ball, which is exactly what you need to be able to know how to do for this. So say for example, you pull from the center of this skein cake and you are starting with this orange color, right? You work your whole way through and you get to the red. And then the next one that you pick up is this one, right? That starts with orange, but it's the end of the orange. And then you have to work through this little bit of orange to get through the red. And you want to make sure, say you're making something like a blanket, and you want to make sure that the color changes are all even throughout. What you would need to do is pull from the center here, and you would pull until you get to the color that you need, right? The problem is that if you do that by pulling it out and wrapping up your ball, when you cut it and you start working from the outside of your ball, you're going to be going backwards in your color transitions. So what you have to do is you need to wind a center pull ball, and not everybody always has everything on hand as far as a Swift or a yarn winder to do that. And again, it's kind of silly to set up so many different things to just be able to wind up this one little color change, that the easiest way to do it is to wind it by hand. I do have an entire video tutorial and blog post on how to do that. I will make sure to link that below, but it's really super simple. If you've ever done it before, basically what you have to do is just hold that end and you wind a little bit of a figure 8 around your fingers, pinch it off, and then start wrapping around that piece. And then you just have to make sure that you keep that tail loose. And then what happens is once you're done and you cut, you have that tail that's in the middle of the ball, so that this way you can pull it. Again, I have a video and a blog post for that, so I will link that below. Anyways, back to Whoopi. So my cat ate that label. Let's get another one. Okay, so this is Whoopi from Circulo. This is a number 2 sport weight yarn. The recommended hook on this is a 2.25 millimeter. Again, I haven't used the ones that I have in a different colorway yet, so I cannot confirm whether or not that is a hook size that I would recommend. So again, as always, make sure that you do a couple of different swatches to figure out what kind of hook size you would like to use with this yarn. If you want to knit with it, the recommended needles on this is a 3.5 millimeter. This is another 100% mercerized Brazilian cotton. It is beautiful. It's really, 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 really pretty. For being mercerized, it doesn't really have as much of a shine on it as you might expect, right? Let's see. Is that? Yeah, you can see it's got a very matte finish to it. 578 yards per cake. These things are huge. I mean, that's enough. If you're using a nice light lacy open airy stitch, that's enough to make, you know, some sort of a beach cover up or a wrap, you know, to be able to have once the summer months kick in and you need something light just to keep your shoulders covered. So yeah, 578 yards. And again, let's see where, again, this has a color number. This is 9216. And again, it is marked with a batch. So be sure to get enough of the color that you pick up for your project. This one's really soft. I'm gonna have to do something with this. I can't, the color that I have, I wanna say, I think it's, I wanna say that it's got greens in it, but I don't think it's got greens. I think it's like purpley. I don't remember. I think it's purpley. I wanted to make a dress with it. I might. We'll see. I've never made a dress before. I want to make a dress, but I've never made a dress. Last but definitely not least is sugarcane. Do you see? Oh, this yarn is so drapey and soft. It feels absolutely amazing. So this is called sugarcane because it is 100% viscose from sugarcane. How cool is that? So this is another number 3 DK weight yarn. Again, it gives you a color number. This is 7561 and it does have a batch. This is like a beautiful, I don't know, like a milk chocolate. It's yeah, milk chocolate's probably a really accurate description of what I can think of for this color. It's gorgeous. It's so pretty. I do have this, I do also have this in a, it's like a dark olive green, kind of an evergreen, but kind of more olivey. It's a very saturated green. It's really, really pretty. These hanks come with, look at how, like, look at that. It's like falling on itself. I'm touching it too much and I'm starting to unwind it. Hold on, let me grab another one because I don't want to tangle that up. Let me grab another one. So you get 153 yards per each hank. This is a yarn that you are going to need a swift and a ball winder if you do pick some of this up, because you're going to have to make it into a cake when you're ready to use it. Again, you could, if you wanted to, wind this by hand. I have done entire hanks like this by hand when I just haven't felt like setting up everything else. You can do that if you really want to. It will just be a bit more of a pain in the butt because you're gonna have to open this up and let's see. You're going to have to come in and open this up. Let's make sure that none of that is twisting. You're gonna have to open it up, lay it down, and be able to have enough time to wind it by hand before anything comes along and touches it, like, you know, a cat or a child. So, but look at this. Oh gosh, look at the drape on it. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, I want to work with this so bad. What can I make with this? This yarn is really pretty. It has a ton of plies. If you could see that, let me try to. If you could see, look at all of the plies on this. So it's almost like a whole bunch of tiny threads put together. So if you've ever worked with anything like bamboo or linen or even some other cottons, not really cottons. I feel like cottons tend to keep their spin together better, but things like linen, bamboo especially, they kind of untwist at the ends, and you can see all these little threads. That's exactly what we're getting here. But this feels amazing. So let's wind this back up. Okay, so let's see about recommended hooks and needles for this yarn. So the recommended hook on this is a 3.5 millimeter. I'm gonna have to say that I would trust that. I would probably start out with a 3.5 millimeter. Recommended needle on this is a 4.5 millimeter. And again, like I said before, color is 7561. So you're gonna have to make sure that you get enough of this in the correct batch or lot number, so that this way you don't have any color issues within your project. Again, it is called sugar cane because it is made from the viscose of sugar cane, which is really, really, really cool. Also made in Brazil, like all of their yarns. I'm not gonna try to do that right now. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed checking out all of these new yarns with me. Please make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe so that this way you never miss any of my yarn reviews, my unboxings, video tutorials, and just all around fun yarny content. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Enjoy your day.